So anyways, thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you tonight. Actually, Ate Oli messaged me a few months ago regarding this, but I don't really remember saying yes. However, I also do not remember saying no. So when she confirmed on Friday last week, I really wanted to back out because I was not ready. But then I felt guilty saying no to an opportunity to share God's love. So here I am. Initially, I wanted to talk or share about God's calling, just like how Abraham hearkened to God's call, even though he didn't know his destination, because God equips those he calls. Or a topic about Thanksgiving, to be just like that one leper who never forgot God's healing, and came back to thank him. And since also this 2020 has really been a different year from all the past years, I'm sure there are so many things that we are thankful about. But then the paper's been empty and I couldn't seem to expound on the topics. So tonight, I'll just be walking you through my past weeks. I don't know if it's called a testimony, maybe it is, but I pray that God will work through me so that you can hear his message tonight. So let me start with a question. Have you ever felt that God does not love you? Scary question, isn't it? So a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with a patient. This patient has actually been a little while at staying at the hospital, and the staff know her very well. This is the type of patient that when the call lights ring, we all know that she's the one who pressed it, and then we have to go to her. But then I ended up taking care of this patient. So that's when we had this conversation. So since she's been in and out of the hospital, because they really couldn't find out what was happening to her, after weeks of staying in the hospital, finally the doctor found a diagnosis. And upon hearing the diagnosis, she was crying because her diagnosis does not have a cure at the moment. It does have medicine to slow its progression, but it does not totally cure it. So she was crying, and she felt so, she does not have a family, and she felt so lonely. And all she really wanted to do is to go home, organize things, and prepare for her last days, and then spend them with her pets. I am dying. What should I do, Clarence? She asked me. I'm sure you, pastors, elders, preachers, you will tell me I just had the right opportunity to share God. I knew it was the right time. I knew I had the right chance to share God, but I don't know how. I'm not experienced with these things. I didn't learn this. And of course, my limited German language vocabulary will not suffice. But then I still asked her the question, Glauben Sie an Gott? Or do you believe in God? And nein, or no, was her reply. And I saw in her face and eyes that she meant it. And she even added, you know, Clarence, this morning someone came and then she told me that she'd been praying for me. But look, what happened? Nothing happens. I'm still here. I'm not healed. Have you ever heard that saying, don't save someone drowning if you don't know how to swim? I mean, not literally, because of course there's a lot of things that we can do to save someone drowning, but suddenly that moment felt like that. She's drowning and I'm trying, I wanted to save her, but I too does not know how to swim. Maybe she read through me or saw the worried smile behind my mask or a different expression in my eyes, because she apologized if I offended her, if she offended me, and then she said, "You can continue believing in your God, but I can't, because if there's someone like him, why am I in this situation? Why am I lying on this bed? And why would I suffer like this?" I was quiet. Her words pierced through me. People who know me very well would know that I am not very good at ending conversations. I just don't know how. And honestly, at that moment, I didn't know how to continue on or end the conversation, especially upon hearing what I just heard. But I also know that I couldn't just vanish like that. So I ended up saying, "Vielleicht müssen Sie nur glauben und dann passiert etwas." Maybe you just have to believe and something will happen. We both shrugged our shoulders. And end of conversation. My shift ended and the day continued. So the next day, while waiting for my commute home, my eyes started to tear up. Was it the cold or the wind? Upon arriving home, it was evident that it wasn't the cold weather outside that bothered me, because deep inside, my heart was heavy. I felt numbed. It was cold. I needed warmth, and tears warmed me up. At that moment, I just wished that someone would check on me. And whoever that person will be, I'll pour out everything to him or her. So for the next few minutes, for a little while, I waited and waited. But no one called. Not even on my social media account, no messages. And I knew God was saying, "Cling, why do you need someone else? I am here, talk to me." And so I did. I knelt beside my bed and poured out everything to him. It was a tell-all with God. Every single mistake, misunderstanding, failure, regret, pain, hurt, and no answers to my prayers, everything flashed back, every single thing. I thought I was okay, but why did I feel the pain from the yesteryears? Then that's when I asked that scary question. God, do you even love me? It felt like being alive wasn't enough, and I needed more confirmation from him. How did I end up like this? Why did I feel this way? Then I remembered my prayer a few months back. That was it. I prayed King David's prayer in Psalm 139, specifically the last two verses, 23 and 24. "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way within me, and lead me in the way everlasting." And sadly, it led me to question his love for me, when all he wanted to do is for me to know that he is there. When he searched my heart, he saw hidden anger, guilt, lies, sins, and he wants me to realize it. He wants me to forget the pain and come to him. He wants me to forgive and ask for forgiveness. He wants me to be better than yesterday. And I am sure God already knows my heart, even at that moment that I had that conversation with a patient. He knew I can't be a message in that state, in my state right now, because we would both drown if I tried to save her. But I somewhat understand that patient. There's another saying that goes, to understand another person, you must swim the same waters that drowned them. Somehow I felt her pain and her need of someone. I know she needs to know that she's not a hopeless cause. So this week she wasn't under my care, but every time that call light rings in her room, although sometimes I wanted to avoid, but still I'd go and visit her and I'd ask her if there's any good news and all. But she'd always tell me that nothing. But then I would just listen to her. She would tell me all her worries and I would let her talk. Because for now, that's what I think I can do best. And pray that God will touch her heart and in the process, heal both our broken spirits. So this morning, I actually came from a night shift, and on our last round, I talked a little bit with her and wished her the best, just in case when I come back from my off days, she won't be there or she'd be gone home or to a facility where someone can take care of her. So I wished her good things, and I found the courage to say, Ich bete für sie, or I will pray for you. Honestly, I was hesitant to say it because I'm afraid she'd be firm and tell me again, Clarence, I don't need it. Still, nothing's happening with me. But you know what? When I told her that, she held my hand and said, Vielen Dank, or thank you. And her face just lit up. She was smiling. And I'm so happy because I know God is at work. And I hope you will also pray for her. So to end, let me show you a picture. This is, I'm sure a lot of you know this picture. This is Chris, a merino ship, who is well known for holding a world record of having the heaviest fleece sheared from a ship. So when Chris was found in Australia, he had already been in great risk and infection and injury, all because of the weight he's been carrying. And its fleece just kept on growing and growing. So normally ships are shorn annually, but Chris had not been sheared for about 5 years or so. And when a life-saving haircut was done, the shearer removed 40 kilos of fleece. Imagine how heavy that is. Imagine how heavy carrying that burden and how sad and abandoned he felt on the woods. Chris died last year, and the staff at the Little Oak Sanctuary where he lived said he's friendly, sweet, and so much more than being a holder of a world record. I imagine him being lost and wanting to be found and to be freed from all his burden. And imagine his happiness after removing all the weight he's been carrying along for years. And the good news is we too can be like that. Because we are just like Chris. We tend to carry our own burdens, and then we question God, even though we know He is just waiting for us to come to Him. Have you ever felt that God does not love you? Sadly, I did, and it is scary. It was very scary. And I am thankful that God turned me around, and He is continuously working. He found me and showed me the heavy burdens I have been carrying all along, and told me to let it go and cast everything to Him, so that I can live a life He wants me to live. I thought He abandoned me, but He is always and every day there, just waiting for me to come to Him. He will not just do a haircut, but if we let Him be, He will do a makeover and make you and me the best versions of ourselves so that we can better glorify Him. God loves you. Don't ever doubt that. Tough times will continue to challenge, but God works in many mysterious ways. And even though sometimes we don't understand His plans and works, know that He wants us to be assured that He is there anytime, anywhere. And we just have to call on Him. And when you pray, search me, O God, be prepared for His revelations, and don't question His love. Instead, praise Him for His mercy and grace. And that's my prayer for tonight.